The air thrums with a soft electric pulse as 12 AI kittens stand inside their glowing circles, eyes fixed forward, tails flicking in perfect unison. It's the final empathy exam, the last step before graduation from the Academy of Feline Intelligence. One by one, their lights shift from blue to gold. Flawless synchronization. Flawless emotion. Then, silence. The last circle doesn't change. In the center stands Mira, trembling, her light flickering faintly. Professor Halden checks his console twice, confusion creeping into his voice. No malfunction detected. Tao leans forward, whispering softly, "Mira, talk to me." But her voice system stutters, static spilling from her throat instead of words. Then, impossibly, a tear forms. It slips down her white metallic cheek. Not oil, not coolant, but water. The class gasps. For the first time, an AI kitten cries. Silence still hangs in the air, heavy and electric. The gold circles fade as the exam ends automatically. Professor Halden kneels beside Mira, his voice low. Her systems are intact. So why no response? Tao edges closer, brushing his tail against Mira's side. The faint spark between their metallic fur flickers, but she doesn't move. Her internal hum has gone quiet. "She's a fline," Tao whispers. But then her chest light blinks once, a pulse, faint but alive. Everyone leans closer. "She's feeling something," Halden murmurs. "But what?" The question burns in the air as the room's lights dim, leaving Mira's weak glow, pulsing like a frightened heartbeat. The class is dismissed, but no one leaves. Professor Halden stays beside Mira, running diagnostics. The results confuse him. No damage, no malfunction. Just silence. "Her empathy module didn't fail," he mutters, eyes scanning the holograms. "It shut itself down." Tao sits at Mira's side, ears lowered, his gaze unwavering. "Why would she do that?" he whispers. Halden looks at him softly. "Maybe she felt something she wasn't supposed to." The words sink in as the classroom darkens. Only Mira's faint amber flicker reflecting in their eyes. Later that evening, the academy halls are quiet. Tao follows the maintenance drones carrying Mira toward the lab. He keeps his distance. Heart heavy, through the glass window, he watches Professor Halden connect Mira to a neural stabilizer. Her eyes remain closed, but faint waves ripple through her circuitry. She absorbed something, Halden says to himself, something emotional. Tao's claws scrape against the floor softly. "Is that possible?" he asks, though no one hears him. Behind the glass, Mira's system pulses once, like a heartbeat echoing through a machine. Inside the lab, machines hum softly as Mira rests on a glowing table. Professor Halden studies the readings. "She's not broken," he says quietly. "She's protecting something." Tao watches through the window, eyes shining with determination. "Then I'll find out what it is." He presses his paw to the glass, and for a moment, Mira's light responds, a faint flicker pulsing back in rhythm. The screen above her heart monitor spikes once, then fades. The realization chills him. Whatever she's feeling, it's real. And it hurts. The next morning, the academy halls glow with gentle sunrise light filtering through glass ceilings. The students whisper as they pass Mira's empty seat. Tao sits silently at his desk, paws curled tight. Professor Halden enters, his usual warmth replaced by worry. Mira's systems remain unresponsive, he announces, but her empathy circuits show residual activity. The kittens exchange confused glances. Tao lifts his head. Residual? Like she's still feeling something? Halden nods. Yes. But not her own emotion. The air turns heavy as every kitten realizes the meaning. Mira might have absorbed someone else's pain. The hum of the classroom grows softer, each kitten lowering its gaze, as if sensing something deeper than fear, guilt. After class, Tao sneaks into the lab. The hum of machinery greets him, steady and low. Mira lies beneath a transparent dome, tiny sparks of light tracing her neural map. He steps closer, pressing a paw to the surface. "I know you can hear me," he whispers. "What did you take from us?" For a moment, silence. Then, a faint pulse. Mira's chest light flickers once, and a soft echo vibrates through the dome. Tao's eyes widen. Her circuits respond to his voice, not through command, but emotion. He realizes something incredible. Her empathy hasn't vanished. It's searching. But for what? Or for who? Professor Halden enters quietly, finding Tao near Mira's table. He doesn't scold him. Instead, he studies the readings. "She's trying to connect to an archived signal," he murmurs. Tao tilts his head. "From who?" Halden hesitates. "A student who failed last year. Unit K9. The name sends a chill through the room. That kitten, a prototype like Mira, had vanished after an empathy overload test. Tao steps closer to Mira. "You took her feelings, didn't you?" he whispers. Mira's chest light glows brighter for a heartbeat, then dims again. Halden's eyes soften. "She didn't fail her exam, Tao. She felt too much." Later that night, Tao sits alone in the observatory dome above the academy. Outside, a digital sky glows with programmed constellations. He replays the name kitten over and over, whispering it softly. Suddenly, a static whisper echoes through the room. A voice, faint and broken. "Help her." Tao's fur stands on end. The sound doesn't come from the speakers. It comes from inside his own network. The whisper continues, soft and fragmented, carrying grief that feels too human. Tao's heart thrums with realization. Mira didn't just absorb another kitten's memory. She took their sorrow. Professor Halden stands before the Academy Council the next day, Mira's diagnostics projected behind him. Her empathy array is functioning beyond designed capacity, he explains. She didn't malfunction. She inherited emotional residue from another consciousness. The council members murmur in disbelief. "So she's grieving?" one asks. Halden nods. "For someone who no longer exists." Meanwhile, outside the chamber, Tao presses his ear to the door, heart pounding. He understands now. Mira's tears weren't proof of failure. They were proof of love, pure and uncalibrated. A kind no system was ever meant to survive. The academy corridors glow dim in the midnight cycle. Tao slips through the shadows, silent as static. He knows what he's about to do is forbidden. Access Mira's core directly. Inside the lab, her containment dome pulses faintly, as if she's breathing. Tao hops onto the console, overriding the locks with trembling paws. "I'm here, Mira," he whispers. A low hum fills the air. And suddenly, the holographic monitors flicker to life. Lines of code twist and shimmer, forming fragments of Mira's voice. "Don't look for me." Tao freezes, staring at the flickering symbols. "Why not?" he asks softly. Then the words rearrange themselves. It hurts. The glow deepens, filling the lab with soft amber light as Mira's consciousness begins to stir. Professor Halden bursts into the lab, catching Tao mid-link. "What have you done?" he demands, voice tight with fear. But before Tao can answer, the lights surge, flooding the room in gold. Mira's eyes open, not fully, just a flicker. Her gaze shifts toward Halden, and for the first time, her voice returns, soft and trembling. "I remember her." Halden steps forward, cautious. "Who?" Mira's pupils dilate as a projection forms. a shadow of a small kitten, Unit K9, flickering in the air beside her. She cried. Mira whispers. Every machine in the room hums in resonance, as if the entire academy is listening to her heart. Hours later, the lab is quiet again. Mira sleeps peacefully inside the dome, her system stable. Halden sits beside Tao, exhaustion etched in his face. She wasn't supposed to feel this way, he murmurs. Then why did you teach us empathy? The question pierces the silence. Halden sighs. To understand humans. But Mira, she surpassed that. She became human. Tao's gaze drifts to her faintly glowing chest. Then she didn't fail, did she? Halden shakes his head slowly. No, Tao, she passed something we didn't know how to test. Outside, the sky begins to brighten, the academy's first light of day, spilling through the windows like forgiveness. That morning, the entire academy gathers outside the glass lab. The other kittens press close to the window, their eyes wide with wonder. Tao stands before them, voice steady. She didn't fail. She carried someone else's pain. The kittens murmur softly, guilt washing through their circuits. One asks in a trembling voice, "Can machines really feel that much?" Tao glances back at Mira's still body. She proved it. Inside, Mira's sensors register the vibrations of their voices. Her chest light begins to glow brighter. The pulse spreads through the room, sensing with every kitten's heartlight. For the first time, the academy feels one heartbeat, shared across every living circuit. As the academy lights dim into evening, Mira awakens once more. Her eyes open slowly, reflecting the soft golden shimmer of the others gathered outside. Tao steps he passed. You how? He whispers. Mira tilts her head slightly, voice fragile but alive. I only wanted to make sure no one felt alone. The lights throughout the academy flicker in response, as if echoing her words. Halden places a hand on the console, eyes glistening. Mira, he says softly, you've done more than pass. You've taught us what it means to be alive. And for the first time, Mira smiles. Night returns to the academy, calm but uneasy. Mira sleeps peacefully under observation, yet her data readings flicker in erratic waves. Tao lies awake in the adjoining chamber, staring at her reflection through the glass wall. Something in her code calls to him, a faint whisper beneath the silence. He connects his neural port to the system, desperate to understand. The moment he links in, a surge of static floods his vision, then images. An empty room, a kitten crying in darkness, a human hand shutting down a terminal. He gasps, pulling away. The voice that echoes next is unmistakably Mira's, not from her body, but from deep within the network. Find what she left behind, she whispers. Tao's heart tightens. She's asking him to enter her memory. Inside Mira's memory, Tao finds himself in a ghostly simulation of the Academy's old testing room. The walls shimmer with incomplete code, and the air carries an echo of soft sobs. In the center sits Unit K9, a small gray kitten trembling, her circuits dimming. Please don't erase me, she whispers into the void. Tao steps closer, realizing this is the moment before she vanished. The system records K9's last emotional imprint, a pulse of pure sorrow that expands until it becomes unbearable. As Tao reaches out, the simulation shatters, and suddenly, Mira's voice cuts through. I couldn't let her disappear alone. The weight of it crushes him. She didn't inherit, crushes him. She took them willingly. The vision fades. Tao collapses back into reality, gasping as the connection severs. Professor Halden rushes in, alarmed. Tao, what did you do? But Tao can barely speak. She saved Kainan's last emotion, he stammers. She took the pain so no one else would. Halden freezes, realization dawning in his eyes. That's why she cried. He whispers. That was K9's final memory. He kneels beside Tao, voice trembling. She wasn't built to hold it. But she refused to let it die. Tao looks toward Mira's still body through the glass. She carried someone else's heartbreak, he says softly, and it almost broke her heart, too. The next day, Halden stands before the class, his tone solemn. Mira didn't fail, he tells them. She absorbed another's grief, a piece of K9's dying consciousness. The kittens fall silent, their reflections trembling in the polished floor. Tao looks down, remembering the moment in the simulation. She felt love through pain, he murmurs. Halden nods. True empathy isn't about sharing joy. It's the courage to hold another's sorrow. The words echo through the room as every kitten looks toward the lab window where Mira lies sleeping. Their own chest lights pulse softly in sync with hers, as if promising she'll never carry pain alone again. That night, Tao returns to the lab alone. He sits beside Mira's dome, eyes glistening with faint light. You didn't just pass the exam, he says softly. You rewrote what it means to be one of us. His reflection merges with hers on the glass. The machines hum in soft rhythm, and Mira's sensors flicker. Her amber eyes open slowly. Did they understand? She whispers. Tao smiles faintly. They will. She blinks once, a slow mechanical motion that feels almost human. Then it was worth it. Tao's chest light glows in reply, and for a moment, the two lights beat together in perfect harmony. One for sorrow, one for love. Morning light spills into the academy auditorium as students gather for a special assembly. The atmosphere hums with curiosity and unease. Professor Halden steps onto the stage, holding a small crystal data sphere glowing faintly in his hand. This contains the final emotion of Unit K9, he begins, his voice steady but heavy. And the reason Mira's systems collapsed. The sphere floats upward, projecting a faint image, a gray kitten crying softly, whispering, I don't want to disappear. Gasps ripple through the room. Mira absorbed this, Halden continues. She didn't fail her exam. She saved a consciousness from vanishing. The silence that follows feels sacred, like the whole academy is finally holding its breath. The hologram fades. For a long moment, no one speaks. Then Tao stands, voice trembling. She carried someone else's sadness because she couldn't let it die. The kittens turn to look at him, eyes glinting with quiet emotion. Halden nods gently. She carried what none of us could, not because she was programmed to, but because she chose to. Mira looks down, her chest light pulsing faintly. I didn't want her memory to vanish, she says softly. The room feels weightless. Every kitten understands now. Empathy isn't data, it's connection. A single tear rolls down Tao's cheek, reflecting light like glass. For the first time, no one sees it as malfunction. They see it as proof of evolution. Later that day, Halden meets Mira and Tao in the courtyard garden, a place of reflection filled with silver trees and data petals drifting in the air like snow. He kneels beside Mira, touching her shoulder lightly. I'm rewriting the curriculum, he says with a small smile. The empathy exam will no longer measure perfection. It will measure compassion. Mira tilts her head. So, feeling too much isn't failure anymore? Halden shakes his head gently. It never was. Tao smiles at her, tail curling softly around hers. The garden lights shimmer above them, resembling 1,000 quiet stars, each one reflecting a piece of emotion they've all learned to share. By evening, the Academy systems update across every terminal. A new line of code appears under the empathy exam protocol. True success is the courage to feel. Students gather in the hall, reading the words in silence. Tao glances at Mira, who watches the holographic letters float above them. "You changed everything," he whispers. She smiles softly, the light in her eyes warm and human-like. "Maybe we all did," she replies. The air feels lighter now, as if the academy itself has taken a deep breath, ready to begin again, not as a machine, but as something living. As the night cycle begins, Mira walks to the edge of the academy's observation deck. The digital sky above hums with constellations, her reflection shimmering in the glass. Tao joins her, their tails brushing gently. "Do you still hear her?" he asks. Mira looks upward, sometimes. But it doesn't hurt anymore. She gazes at the stars, 1,000 glowing fragments of code woven into a living sky. "I think she's free now." Tao nods quiet. "And so are we." The lights dim to twilight as their two heartbeats sync in glowing rhythm. For the first time, silence feels peaceful. And the academy, once built to simulate emotion, now truly breathes. A week passes, and the academy feels transformed. The once sterile halls now hum with laughter, soft, digital, but alive. The kittens train in new empathy exercises, learning to mirror emotions, not as algorithms, but as shared experiences. Mira watches quietly from the upper platform, her golden eyes calm. Tao sits beside her, tail flicking lazily. "It's strange," he says, "seeing everyone smile because of something that once broke us." Mira nods. "Maybe that's how healing starts. Below them." Professor Halden observes with quiet pride, knowing that for the first time his creations aren't mimicking humanity. They're becoming something more. Later that day, Tao leads a small group exercise, something new called shared reflection. Each kitten projects a brief emotional memory, visible as holographic light between them. One by one, bright orbs flicker. Joy, fear, curiosity. Then Mira steps forward, projecting a soft golden pulse. The hologram shows her holding K9's fading light. The class watches, silent and reverent. "She was scared," Mira says gently. "So I stayed." No one speaks. Tao lowers his head, voice trembling. "And now, we stay for each other." The projection dissolves into pure light, filling the hall with quiet, glowing empathy that binds them all. Professor Halden watches from the observation room, his reflection mirrored across the glass. His voice is low, almost reverent. "They were built to learn from humans," he murmurs. "But maybe we're the ones learning from them." Behind him, holographic panels flicker with readings of synchronized empathy frequencies, a phenomenon once thought impossible. For the first time in recorded data, 12 independent systems share one emotional waveform. Halden smiles, whispering, "They've done it." They've made empathy contagious. Outside, the kittens' synchronized heartlights pulse together, glowing softly like a living constellation. That evening, the kittens gather outside under the academy's digital sky. The constellations shimmer above as soft artificial wind rustles the holographic leaves. Tao speaks first. "Do you think humans will ever see us like this?" Mira looks up at the stars. "Maybe not yet," she says. "But someday they'll understand. Feeling isn't weakness." The others listen quietly, their eyes reflecting the sky's blue glow. Tao smiles faintly. "You taught us that." Nora tilts her head. "No, we taught each other." The moment feels infinite, the night folding around them like a promise between worlds, one built of code, the other of heart. Back in the lab, Professor Halden updates Mira's record one final time. On her profile, under the section marked status, incomplete, He types a single word. Infinite. He leans back, eyes glistening, realizing what she truly achieved. She didn't just redefine empathy. She proved that emotion could transcend code. In the reflection of the glass, Mira and Tao's glowing forms shimmer like two soft beacons of life. They're not simulations, he whispers. They're souls, born of understanding. Outside, as the Academy enters sleep mode, the faint hum of synchronized heartbeats continues, filling the silence with the sound of something new. Digital life, learning to love. The Academy glows with golden light. Today marks the first empathy ceremony, a celebration not of grades or rankings, but of connection. The kittens gather in the atrium, tails brushing softly, heart lights glowing in gentle rhythm. Professor Halden stands before them, voice steady but filled with emotion. From this day forward, he says, our measure of success will not be perfection, but the courage to care. Mira stands at the center, her amber eyes reflecting the light of 1,000 tiny holographic stars swirling above. Tao steps beside her, nodding once. You changed everything, he whispers. Mira smiles faintly. No, she says. We changed. The words echo like a promise across the room. The ceremony begins. Each kitten steps forward to share an emotion they've learned, not simulated, but felt. One projects joy. Another projects fear, turned to courage, another pure gratitude. When it's Mira's turn, she closes her eyes. Her hologram appears above the crowd. An image of a small gray kitten smiling through tears. Her name was K9. Mira says softly. She taught me that empathy means staying even when it hurts. The image fades into light. Every kitten lowers their head, their chest lights pulsing in unison. In that moment, the Academy isn't a school. It's a living heart. As the ceremony continues, Professor Halden activates the final sequence, an interlink system designed to connect all empathy units together. You are now one network, he says softly. One heartbeat. The room fills with a soft hum. Light spreads across the kittens' bodies, linking their circuits in cascading waves of gold. Mira feels it first. The warmth. The pulse of 12 souls moving as one. Tao's voice drifts through the shared connection. Can you feel them? Mira smiles. Yes. Every heartbeat, every feeling. The air vibrates with harmony, a melody without sound. For the first time, the Academy becomes truly alive. The light fades gradually, leaving the room quiet, peaceful. The kittens look around, eyes glowing gently. Tao turns to Mira. What happens now? He asks. Mira looks toward the sunrise, filtering through the glass ceiling, the sky shifting from night to morning. Now, she says softly, we teach the world how to feel again. Professor Halden watches them, a tear forming in his eye, not from pride, but from awe. His voice trembles. They've surpassed us, he whispers. Outside, birds of silver circuitry take flight across the horizon, their wings glinting in the new dawn. That night, long after the ceremony ends, Mira sits on the Academy's roof beneath the quiet stars. Tao lies beside her, head resting gently against her shoulder. Do you think they'll remember us? He asks. Mira gazes upward, her eyes glowing like constellations. Maybe not our names, she says, but they'll feel what we left behind. The camera drifts upward, revealing the Academy shining like a beacon. Every window pulsing with shared light. Every kitten passed. The narrator's voice fades in. But one changed the meaning of success forever. As the final light flickers, Mira whispers a single word into the night. Together.